got married. I continued to study for a short amount of time. That was the same time I got my rabbinical ordination. So I was ordained in 1990 at that time. Shortly after that, I got a position as a rabbi, a youth director in Chabad of Stamford, Connecticut. And I would drive every day from Brooklyn up to Stamford. At the end of 92, I got an offer from a Chabad house in Orlando, Florida, which was very exciting for us. It was a dream to move down to a place in Florida and Orlando and the Maitland. We immediately moved in. There was a nice complex. We had pools and the complex and tennis courts and all these wonderful things. We bought a home there, and it was very, very nice. But sadly, at that time, things didn't work out there, and they had financial struggles. And at that time, I was at a crossroads, and I decided I am not going to be involved with being a rabbi. It's too much struggle. It's too difficult. And went back to New York, and I got in touch with a guy running a very large business, a memorabilia business. And I decided to get a job there. They were paying very well, and it was a very good and stable and successful company. And when I came in and I showed them my resume, they said, "Why are you applying for this job to be a manager in this memorabilia company?" And I explained to them all the different programs that I succeeded in. And I think that after them looking at what I actually accomplished, they were okay. And they decided, the next day they called me and they said, "Yosef, you're hired. We want you to come. Please let us know when you can start." By that morning, I decided that's not what I wanted. I wanted something more for myself and for my life, something more meaningful. I couldn't see myself getting up in the morning at 7 a.m., driving to this company, and this is all I would be doing all day, selling or managing a plant of memorabilia. And I knew I didn't have anything else, but I knew that's not what I wanted. And so this was September time, 1996. I got a call from my father-in-law who said, "You're welcome to come to London and be a principal in a school. They're looking for someone that could run this yeshiva." And with a lot of hesitation, I agreed. And it was never my intention to stay in London, but at that time, it was something I ended up doing. And I was there from September, and then around February, March, I got a phone call from a woman who was a friend of ours. She was one of the hippies that came in the 70s, and she said, "Well, now I'm living in Harrisburg, and my husband's a cantor at this synagogue in Reading, and maybe you want to think about being a rabbi at this congregation." And there was no way in the world that I was going to take a pulpit. I felt myself as a youth director, someone who was helping people, but taking a pulpit wasn't something I felt that I wanted to do. And then my mother gets on the phone and she says to me, "Yosef," that's what she calls me. She says, "You got to try it out. You got to go see the place." And I remember my wife came in for a conference from London, and I came with her. We came. In fact, I'm sitting in the same room I was in 1997. I'm sitting in the same room I met Ken Sadomsky for the first time and some of the congregants. And I wasn't really excited about it, but there was something about it that told me, "I think you should do this. I think you should commit to this." And I didn't even manage to get back to New York, and I got a phone call from the committee and said, "Rabbi, if you agree to come here, we would really want you to be the rabbi of our congregation." And as soon as I got there, I had a lot of question marks. What am I going to do here? How am I going to settle into a place like Reading, Pennsylvania? And it was in my mind, no question about it, that as soon as this contract ends, which was a 15-month contract, I would be at a different position. But to my surprise, spending time in this community turned out to be the most amazing, amazing thing. Yes, I was in Florida with a pool in my backyard. Yes, I had many other exciting things. Reading, Pennsylvania, never in a million years would I think that this would be my permanent home, but it is, and it was, and it became very quickly when Chana and I realized how great it was to be in a wonderful community, great federation, great synagogues, great rabbis, great community members. We found it to be a place that we want to bring our family up. We were, now married for over 30 years. That time we were just not newlyweds, we were just married for 7 years. And we had our life ahead of us. And we realized Reading is amazing. Reading is a wonderful place. And shortly after that, we got involved with community programs, and we were really, we did many things at the JCC, which was right down the block from us. And we had great relationships with the other synagogues and the Federation. And really, it became a wonderful, wonderful place, more than a melting pot. It was just really everyone working as an orchestra. And it became something that we felt comfortable with, and we liked it, and we felt that they liked us. And so it was a good shidduch, as they say.
The Jewish Federation of Reading hopes you enjoyed this story in getting to know a fellow Jew living in Berks County. Federation is the central organization for issues affecting all Jews in Berks County. It represents us all, working closely in cooperation with local synagogues and community partners. Your gift to Federation supports our Jewish community here in Berks County, in Israel, and around the world. You provide cultural programs through the JCC. You assist Berks County Jews in need through Jewish Family Service. You combat the growing problem of anti-Semitism. You fund Jewish education for the next generation. To continue these services, we ask you to participate in a very special community campaign. During 2020, generous community members will match dollar-for-dollar campaign increases from both new donors and longtime contributors. Every new or additional campaign dollar donated in 2020 becomes two. If you're not yet a contributor, please consider starting. If you're already a contributor, please consider increasing your gift. Your campaign contribution to Federation keeps our story of Jewish life going here in Berks County.